Well, let's talk more now, because our reporter Mbali Tatani was watching the briefing by the advocate Andy Mothibi, the head of the Special Investigating Unit. It is, of course, about the PPE procurement scandal that seems to come from really most of the country. Mbali, good afternoon to you. I mean, this is an incredible story and a lot of details coming through in the report that was outlined by Mothibi today.
Of course, Stephen, we know that a number of South Africans have actually been waiting to hear from the SIU just to look at how intricate this investigation is. We know that at the center of this investigation, at least 30 billion rand was spent by government when it comes to procurement processes for PPEs. And we also know that from that 30 billion rand, Stephen, at least 13 billion rand was investigated by the SIU. But I must point out that they've only recovered 127 million rand, which one would say is really a drop in the ocean when you look at the extent of this corruption. And, you know, something that he also touched on looking into this is also the grand scale of corruption. He also described it as saying that, well, it's unprecedented. It is a first for the country looking into this investigation. It's the first time that the country has actually done this investigation of this magnitude. And is basically even describing it. We know that looking at state capture, we've seen a number of investigations coming out, revelations from state-owned enterprises. And when Mothibi described it, Stephen, he was basically saying that, well, someone can actually liken this state of corruption to that of SOEs. And of course, one thing that South Africans have been wanting to know more about is, of course, the corruption in the Gauteng Department of Health. We know that Kusela Diko's husband also obtained a contract with the Gauteng Health Department. Also, she was involved in that, Stephen, and you'd know that the former MEC of Health has since been suspended, looking into some of the contracts that he was actually implicated in. Now, Stephen, I just want us to listen to one of the companies that have been linked to Kusela Diko, and that is, of course, Ledla, and just their role when it comes to how money was swindled from that contract and how it quickly filtered in through other people's bank accounts.
Sound? I do apologize, the sound seems to have left us there. But, I mean, he is clearly talking about this company which has received huge media attention.
Of course, Stephen, and yesterday we did see that special tribunal report yesterday just talking about that specific contract and how money was quickly taken out from that contract and then it was taken into other bank accounts. Now, it's at least more than 20 bank accounts. And he was saying that, well, looking at how money was moved from this contract, it was quite alarming. But Stephen, it's really an intricate report that came out from the SIU today, you know, just painting the scale of corruption, especially at a time where we are facing a pandemic. And he even basically went on to say that, well, you know, during a time like this, it's actually quite disheartening to see corruption of this magnitude.
So what are the next steps from here? I mean, the SIU does a report, it can get the money back through the special tribunal, the judges look at this. But I think a lot of people are going to say, well, what's next? Where is the National Prosecuting Authority?
Well, Stephen, they are trying to recover the money. One thing that they've also spoken out about is that a number of people have resigned in their positions, but they will be freezing those contracts, or rather they will be freezing monies from those people. And of course, looking into that specifically, we also know that this process is also expected to take 6 more months. They say that they're not done. So, you know, they say that people can still be charged. So this is where the NPA will now have to come in and step it up and just to follow those officials who have been linked to some of the corruption looking into PPE tenders.
Mbali Tatani, thanks very much indeed. Well, in some ways, it's really a staggering story about what's been happening at the regarding corruption, the pandemic and PPE procurement.